This is Michael Woodward, and this is Season 2, Episode 46 of the Jumble Think Podcast.
T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Jumble Think Podcast, a podcast focused on telling the stories of dreamers, makers, innovators, and influencers. Along the way, we'll give you some tips and tools of how you can chase your own big ideas and dreams and change the world around you. Our guest on today's episode is Sam Rusani. More about Sam in a moment. Our guest on Thursday's episode is CJ Windish. He is the founder of Robotica. He's a maker, a thought leader, and in the past he's worked as a software engineer for companies like Box and Microsoft. It is a super fun episode, so make sure to check out Thursday's episode with CJ Windish. Now let's jump into today's episode. Hey there, welcome to the Jumble Think Podcast. My name is Michael Woodward. I am your host, and we have an incredible episode for you. Before we jump in, I want to encourage you, wherever you like to listen to podcasts, let's take a moment and click that subscribe button. You can find us on all the normal suspects like iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now Google Podcasts. We've made it even easier for you. If you like listening to your podcasts on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, here's all you have to do. Go to jumblethink.com/iTunes or jumblethink.com/Spotify, and it will take you right to the app, open up our page, and just click that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning into the episode. I hope you go and subscribe. And now our incredible guest today. His name is Sam Rusani. He is the Chief Revenue Officer for ShipChain. In the past, he's worked with companies like Sony, Fender, Virgin, Universal Music, Heineken, Visa, Mercedes, and so much more. Sam, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about ShipChain and what you guys do and how you fit into that picture.
So we are a software company utilizing blockchain technology to redefine and kind of disrupt the whole transport and logistics industry, which is one of the largest and oldest industries on this planet. It's about $10 trillion in market cap.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. So what we're doing is we're utilizing blockchain technology to address a certain amount of problems that we found within the industry, so we can effectivize, decentralize, and secure what we're doing.
Now, how did this idea, ShipChain, really start? What was like the catalyst for making this happen?
The catalyst was we were in a chat. So the founders have the CEO John Monarch has he owns one of the largest fulfillment centers in the South, and we've been doing business with him before. Me and Brian Evans, our CMO, used to have an agency, a marketing agency that we did some business with him with, and then we all had an interest in blockchain and cryptocurrencies and all that. And then one night early last year, he was kind of venting about all the transport and logistics issues that he had with the clients in the fulfillment center, et cetera. And we had experienced that too in our agency with some of the international clients we've been working with who did a lot of import and export. And there's always issues with, the tracking and tracing. Where is the stuff actually? And nobody knew. Stuff disappeared. Stuff got stuck in customs or at the port because nobody really know, was it my turn to fill out the documentation? Oh, I didn't know. And then fees were added and it's a big mess. And it's for being that big of an industry, it has a lot of problems and it's very fragmented. So that's when we were like, hey, blockchain technology is really the absolute perfect technology to solve a lot of these issues with.
You guys are innovating in this space. Can you give us maybe one story or an example of how you're finding fulfillment or significance or purpose in what you're doing and how it's impacting those around you?
Yeah, I mean, to me personally, this is absolutely world changing. I mean, we're we're effectivizing something. I mean, we've run some of the simulations we've run is you can take down a document handling import export process that takes 3 to 4 weeks to 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
And I mean, this is, yeah, I mean, in the end, it not only does it make shipments faster and more secure for companies and the end customer, which, hopefully means that there's a lower price or higher efficiency, et cetera. But there's also another keyword that's extremely important with blockchain technology, and it's provenance, which means that with the help of blockchain technology, it's now easier to trace exactly where your product came from, the true origin of your product. Like you can see where your diamonds, your leather, your food, your mango, whatever it is, right? You can see exactly where it came from and the route it has taken to, end up in your house or wherever it is, right?
So are we talking like macro or micro level? Like if you say a diamond, are you talking about the bulk process of getting that diamond from wherever it's coming from, Canada, Africa, wherever? Or are you talking about down to the actual individual item and being able to see its journey from point to delivery?
Yes, micro.
Wow.
To the individual item. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
So with
crazy.
diamonds, for example, Everledger is doing something pretty cool, right? So they're making sure that every diamond you can track the journey it's been taking. So you can see that it's not a conflict diamond, and of course, in an attempt to get rid of, we've been contacted, from projects that want to eliminate the exploitation of child workers, etc., in mines, or there's a lot of stuff that, since blockchain has an immutable, tamper-resistant record of every transaction that's happening, and that's not only financial transactions. That could be a transaction of, movement or registration of goods, etc., and it can help really eliminate a lot of these problems.
It's taking some of those principles of like single origin coffee or something like that, where you're knowing where it's produced, you're being a responsible consumer.
Yeah.
It's applying that to a larger scale of anything, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I
Wow.
mean, we've seen, there's a lot of examples of, you can now see where, again, your leather is coming from, or when we see with truck drivers, right? You can have now what's been a problem in certain countries in the past is that, truck drivers show up with a paper license or certification of, yeah, sure, I can drive these hazmat materials, and it's a really hard process to sometimes track that that's true. But if you save it on the blockchain, together with a digital identity, for example, then it's extremely hard to manipulate, if not impossible. That's why, for example, MIT are now issuing diplomas on the blockchain.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So why is what ShipChain is doing? Why does it matter? Why is it significant?
Again, I think it's significant because the industry in itself needs to modernize.
Okay.
It needs to effectivize. There are so many problems in the industry now. And like I said before too, for the consumer, we're moving toward what I believe is a more conscious consumerism.
Yeah.
And people want to know, where is my stuff coming from? Is it benefiting the world? Look at the millennials that are growing up now are very interested in enabling villages in remote villages in third world countries, maybe to be able to do what they're doing and thrive, so to speak, right? And enabling the whole fair trade organizations and the everything is just provable when you're using blockchain technology. Now, it doesn't, blockchain isn't the one and all solution for everything.
Yeah.
But it definitely helps, pinpoint issues and problems, and it helps really, again, what I really love about it is that you have that single point of truth in a tamper-resistant environment. There's no way people can go in and tamper, because traditionally you had to trust a third-party institution that whatever they said was true, because we've seen how that's been going. Like, look at the banks, right? They're opening millions of fake accounts and insider tradings, and there's all this weird stuff going on. And look at Equifax, the stuff had been breached, and they knew about it. And some of the guys even sold stock before the news broke. I mean, there's been a lot of. I'm not saying all organizations are corrupt or anything, but I'm saying if with blockchain technology, you don't need to trust an institution. You're giving the power back to the people pretty much, because it's a consensus algorithm, right? I mean, you can't update anything in a distributed ledger if you don't have the consensus of the whole network. You don't need to,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
So cool. So cool. What is one challenge you guys are facing right now and that you're working to overcome in the ShipChain company?
I think one ongoing challenge, it's a fun challenge, but it is a challenge,
Yeah.
is mass adoption.
Okay.
Is getting the industry to adapt not only new technology and to modernize kind of quickly, because that's what I believe it has to do. But it's also to kind of shift their thinking to a more collaborative philosophy, so to speak, because
Okay.
the economies of scale for a blockchain means that the more people using the blockchain, the more secure it becomes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So companies have to shift from, oh, we have these, guarded silos with our data and our stuff, to, hey, let's all utilize the blockchain and put our stuff on there, because only that way can it become more secure. And I think it's well, that's a half truth, because it's a common misconception that, oh, now I have to put all my data on the blockchain, which is not true, because
Right.
it's extremely expensive to save data
Yeah.
on a blockchain.
Yeah.
So you would only save, what's called hashes or pointers to your data. But yeah, I think it's the general philosophy is that you have to kind of have that collaborative thinking moving forward. So I think the market adoption is going to be a constant challenge that we're facing for the next probably decade or so.
So as you guys are pushing forward and really growing what you're doing and making more impact in the space, what's the next big goal that you have?
Well, our next big goal is to launch. We have a couple to launch the actual platform, which is going to happen end of this year or Q1 next year. So we're
Okay.
going to have the web platform ready to go, because this year we're doing pilot programs, and of course the big goal is to gather some really interesting data from those pilot programs that we're doing, so that we can utilize it and go out heavy come next year. And of course, that sets several revenue goals. For example, we need to have a certain amount of users next year, a certain amount of revenue. But I think one of the big goals that we have is just that, gathering some of this super interesting data from the pilot programs and then launching the platform come next year.
Very, very cool. We'll be right back with Sam Rusani and diving deeper into this topic of blockchain, ShipChain, and how it impacts us as a culture and as a people. So you have big ideas and dreams, but there's some things holding you back, some obstacles that you have to overcome. Well, don't do it alone. The Jumblethink team is here to help you. One of the ways we do that is through the free guides that we offer on our website. Currently, you can find 2 guides, Overcoming the Unknown and How to Know When You Found Your Dream. Both of them are completely free. All you have to do is swing on over to jumblethink.com/guide. That's jumblethink.com/guide, and click on the guide you want to download and download it. Our dream is to help dreamers, innovators, influencers, and those people that are innovating to make those things real. So go check out the guides, download them for free right now, and start making your big ideas and dreams a reality. Now let's rejoin our conversation with Sam Rusani, the Chief Revenue Officer of ShipChain. I'm super excited about this conversation because, a couple months ago, everyone was talking about Bitcoin and Litecoin and all of these different blockchain technologies. And you guys are really innovating in this space and looking at a new way of doing and utilizing blockchain. As we dive into this part of the interview, I really want to start by talking about blockchain as a currency, a cryptocurrency, versus blockchain as a function, how we utilize it. Can you talk a little bit about the difference of using blockchain as a currency versus using blockchain as a tool for function.
Absolutely. I think you're making that's a very important question. I always make the distinction of there's blockchain technology and then there's cryptocurrencies. And
Right.
cryptocurrencies are built on blockchain technology, but blockchain technology in itself is much, much more than cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are very important. If we're talking about the big global ones, some of them are just internal currencies
Yeah. Yeah.
for usage on the project platform, so to speak. But some of them are trying to become the new global currency. So you just mentioned the Bitcoin, Litecoin. You
Yeah.
have Ethereum, which is the big important one, of course. And I think, I mean, with the birth of cryptocurrencies, this we're seeing a revolution. This is, I always tell people, this is the fourth industrial revolution we're entering now with blockchain, IoT, and AI, right? It's things are moving very fast, and it's something we haven't seen before, just like when the internet came around, right? You know that something big is happening. We're not really sure where it's going to go because we haven't really figured everything out yet,
Yeah.
but something huge is happening.
Right.
So if you look at, I mean, Bitcoin is of course, or Ethereum or Litecoin, they're all important because they solved the most important problem we ever could solve when it came to digital currencies, and that's what's called the double spend problem, right? Which
Okay.
is, in the past, I could have a file that kind of said that, hey, I have $100, and then the problem would be I would say, hey, I'm going to give John Doe $100, but I'm going to keep a copy of my file on my computer as well.
Right.
So what happened is you're pretty much doing what the banks are doing, right? You're kind of giving someone $100, but you still have $100. That's almost how fractional banking is working, right? So,
Yeah.
but you're not allowed to do that as a regular human being. So, and it's also bad for any economy, of course. So,
Yeah.
they solved that problem by Satoshi Nakamoto, this mysterious man, woman, or group, nobody knows exactly who or what it is,
Right.
inventing this technology that solved that problem. You can no longer save a copy just on your computer. Now it's saved in this global database that everybody has a copy of, and the transactions aren't really performed until everything is validated through extremely complicated cryptographic calculations. So that's kind of the function of the cryptocurrencies. But the role they would play in the world is, of course, a massive role because, I mean, let's say it's a Sunday afternoon at 3 and you need to get $50,000 to the UK. What are you going to do?
Right.
It doesn't happen. Do you see
No.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And you need to wire money, which is the biggest kind of bullshit system. Excuse my French, but hey, I'm gonna wire some money, especially if it's international, right? I'll send it on Monday. Maybe it'll arrive on Thursday or Friday, and you're like,
Right.
why?
Yeah.
There's no human interaction whatsoever happening in this chain of events, right?
Yeah.
They're holding your money so that they can make money off of it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to pay like $50 or $60, and you're like, okay. While meanwhile, somebody was a couple of months ago made $100 million transaction and paid what, 50 cents, 25 cents on it,
Yeah.
and it happened immediately
Yeah.
because it was in Litecoin. So I mean, you see the change there that's happening. Of course, the problem now is that it's so volatile, right? So you're like, oh, I'm buying this TV right now. It's $2,000, and 5 seconds later it's $3,400.
Yeah.
And so of course it's not viable quite yet, but as we see market adoption, that volatility is going to change into something way more stable. So that's kind of the cryptocurrency. I think they're going to change the world again, absolutely, because it gives the power to the people. We don't have to rely on any central banks or any government minting money or anything. It's blockchain is there and it's all over the world, and it's getting accepted as a global currency. As for blockchain technology, it's a super important technology that's going to again change the world because it enables you're creating transactions and records that are tamper resistant. You can't really hack it. If you're doing it on a massive blockchain, I mean, you're going to have to hack millions of computers at exactly the same time all over the world, which is, pretty much impossible.
Right.
You can store anything from digital IDs. I mean, why do we still have social security cards
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
we landed on the moon, what, 50, 60 years ago, but we still have to carry a paper piece that with my, super important social security number. It's insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and on top of that, we're utilizing a technology in a way that wasn't designed. Social security cards were never designed to be unique identifiers for people. They were
yeah,
designed to be a way to track a specific account. And now we're
right.
applying them to so many different things. And it's like saying, hey, yeah, I can use a softball to play baseball,
Hmm.
but it's not going to be baseball. It's going to
Right.
be slower. It's not going to function the same way. Whereas if you're using a technology like blockchain or other systems that can be put in place to manage those kind of things,
Hmm.
all of a sudden you're optimizing the experience so that you're building the right tool for the right problem instead of trying to use a tool that was never designed to do one thing and applying it to another issue.
Exactly. And which leads to, there's, we could talk about the cool projects for hours and hours, and we're not going to do that. But I mean, I think one really cool project when it comes to digital IDs, for example, on the blockchain is ID 2020,
Okay.
which is a big nonprofit kind of funded by, I think, Microsoft and Accenture and a bunch of other companies are involved in it. But so there's about 1.5 billion people in this world living without any record of their existence. Which means that they can't have a bank account, they can't get any social security benefits, they can't get a driver's license, which is insane, right?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
technology now enables people to have a digital ID stored on the blockchain, which is absolutely amazing. It's tamper proof. Again, you can't go in and just edit it and steal it or manipulate it. It's once it's there, it's there.
Okay, so we started talking about currency, the cryptocurrency side of things. We talked a little bit about the functionality. I know that you guys have been processing through your own challenges and issues around compliance and the ever evolving structures around how the SEC views blockchain and how it views cryptocurrencies, and it's impacted you. What do we really need to be knowing about how cryptocurrencies or the larger picture of blockchain is going to evolve when it comes to compliance? And one of the beautiful things I think so many people loved about the technology was that it was outside the realm of government influence and regulation, and so it allowed innovation. It allowed things to move at a much
Hmm.
more rapid pace. But now we're experiencing, it started up in New York and some people up in New York and in the government system, and now it's trickling throughout the country. And we've seen regulation in Europe. We've seen regulation starting to happen in some pockets of Asia.
Hmm.
How is this going to impact innovation? How's it going to impact cryptocurrencies? But how's it going to, more importantly, slow down or change the pace or impact utilization of blockchain as a tool for innovation?
This is a fantastic question, which I love discussing because there are many different views on this. You have the libertarian kind of view, and then you have the more strict view, the conservative view, etc. Personally, I'm for regulation, but it has to be in a way that we can all work together without stifling innovation.
Okay.
Innovation is so important, and like you said, it has opened up for so much innovation. It makes it easier for people to raise money through ICOs, for example, right, for their
Yeah.
projects,
Yeah.
etc. But what we've seen is, of course, what happens is that, all the bad people come in because now there's billions of dollars being poured into an industry that's completely unregulated at the moment. Or it's not, but it's the laws are kind of very blurry as to where
Right.
they apply and where they don't. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of scammers coming in. We've seen BitConnect and we've seen, what was the other one? What's it called, Centera or something like that. I mean, there's just a bunch of scammers coming in and disappearing with the money and so of course, I mean, we need regulations. We have to, sure, it sounds like fun, hey, let's have a currency that no government in the world is ever going to have a view into.
Right. Right.
uh, Again, that's not the world we live in. I don't really believe in total, crypto anarchy. uh, but I do think regulatory arms from the governments will have to, just like many other industries, redefine their thinking and come up with ways to, again, not stifle innovation, because if they do, they're going to see a lot of money and a lot of projects moving out of the country, and they don't want that.
In your specific pocket, the ShipChain process,
Mhm.
when we're using and talking how about how blockchain's being used, are you using this for just mass shipping from a boat standpoint, from air shipments, from U.S. postal system shipments? How are you guys approaching the problem shipping? At what level are you guys really coming in and saying, "Hey, we want to shake up how we track this, how we process our shipping processes"?
Yeah, so we're focusing on containers and pallets to start with. So we're not
Okay.
going into parcels like FedEx, UPS, and the USPS are doing at the moment, because we believe the problems really start at the container and pallet level
Okay.
initially.
Yeah.
Uh, so, like I said, so some of the problems we've identified are that one, there's no unified track and trace system for containers, especially internationally, right? Or what's called intermodal containers, which goes on sea and rail and
Hmm.
truck. It
Yeah.
changes transport medium, so to speak, and we cover all of those, but. So there's no unified track and trace system. So when you look at a container going from, for example, Asia somewhere, China to Detroit, it goes through anything between 3 up to 12, 13, 14 different tracking systems. Now, this is a
So it's
problem.
kind of like it's like system number one might be from warehouse to port, and then system number two might be from port to boat. System number three
Mhm.
could be boat to next port, then through customs, then through to a truck, and then to train, then back to truck, and now it's in Detroit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes, you got it. So what happens is that either, you have to hire a broker that sometimes adds, all the way up to 30 to 50% to keep track of all this,
Okay.
which of course, crushes or, reduces your margins by a lot. And then what it also enables is that there's no accountability in this. So we see that, for example, just in the US, there's more than $30 billion worth of theft every year.
Wow.
And we consider this number probably very low because not everyone reports the thefts because they
Yeah.
don't want to hurt their credibility, so to
Absolutely.
speak. So
Yeah.
but at a minimum, $30 billion a year. That's because it's like, oh well, I thought it was in your tracking system. Well, it wasn't in mine, or it wasn't in this guy's tracking system, or nobody knows where it is, and then whoops, it disappears.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of issues at the whole track and trace level, like I said. And then when you're looking at, for example, there's a big thing about food safety and how you transport perishable goods. For example, you want to make sure that if you're transporting, meat or vegetables, that the guy picking it up or the gal picking it up wasn't transporting metal solvents before that and didn't clean out the truck.
Right.
You know,
Right. Safety
so
there.
yeah, exactly. So that's the level we're attacking it at is again. So we're covering all modes of transportation: sea, air, freight. I mean, sea, air, and land with rail and truck, right? So our whole motto is to integrate, not to replace. So we're not trying to replace all the existing systems out there. We're trying to integrate and add a layer of blockchain, so that you have one single source of truth through your whole supply chain.
So, are you trying to become the tracking solution that people are using blockchain, where instead of having these different systems that don't talk to each other, that there is a holistic system that over the entire process, it follows that entire process? Or is it more of a they're utilizing the same systems, but they have this check in, check out process that then puts a hash or a mark in the blockchain that gives kind of a product process, a status update in that system through point A to point Z?
Yeah, I would say a bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, because we do have an alternative to track and trace. If you don't have a current tracking and tracing system, or if you want to upgrade it, of course, we have a solution for that. But like I said, our motto is to integrate. So most organizations have an existing tracking platform, but it's interesting how some of these massive players we've been out talking to is that again, they're trusting their data with a third party. They barely have access to their own data, right? And
Right.
again, also you're relying on that third party to be truthful. Now, when you
Okay.
implement a layer of blockchain on the whole to the whole platform, that means that you have, like you said, certain checkpoints where you can follow you can audit every single step of a changed document or a tracked route or whatever it is on the blockchain, because you're kind of forcing your reporting and your recording onto the blockchain. So there's always a second layer of auditing going on. You see what I mean? And for
Yeah.
that, we have added something called moderators, where we're rewarding a human element to actually take the time to go out and inspect and make sure that whatever is recorded on the blockchain is true, because that's
Yeah.
very, very hard to fully automate.
One of the things I really wanted to dive into is the question of sustainability around blockchain. There's been a lot of conversation of that it doesn't scale well, that it doesn't grow well. How
Mhm.
are you guys mitigating that risk so that you can utilize the benefits of those tools with overcoming some of the shortfalls that some people are experiencing in their journey of utilizing this technology?
Well, again, a very important question. I think it's, we're in the infancy of this technology, and we're right now seeing it being implemented in a lot of industries,
Okay.
which kind of forces, market adoption. So the most important thing, we're building on the Ethereum platform
Right, which is pretty
because,
standard for a lot of
yeah,
blockchain technologies,
yeah,
companies to utilize that
yes.
specific blockchain
Yeah,
technology.
absolutely. Because it allows for smart contracts. Now, there has been, numerous complaints voiced that it's not scalable, it's not fast enough, etc. But here's what we're thinking: is that one, it's the only time-tested enterprise platform. It's been around for about 4 years.
Okay.
It hasn't gone down or been hacked or compromised in any way during those 4 years. There's also hundreds of billions of dollars worth of projects on and market caps on this platform, which kind of makes us think that, hey, they know that they have to update it to be able to scale.
Right, right.
It's a must for them, and I know Vitalik has been working hard on the Casper and all those updates that are coming, the swarms, and so it's a must for them to update soon. So if that doesn't happen, we're ready to port over to other blockchains as well. But I don't, and I know our CTO has a long and fantastic answer to all this, but I know that we haven't found any other blockchain that we would rely on and to put all that data and all those transactions on, because they haven't been tested like the Ethereum blockchain yet.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit. You mentioned in there that Ethereum hasn't been hacked and there's a lot of safety there. How are you guys approaching the question of privacy and security when it comes to shipping large amounts of content, content being physical or digital representations of physical products? How are you, for your clients and customers, ensuring their privacy and the security of their data while in that process?
So we have developed what's called a sort of vault technology, and like I mentioned earlier on, is that we don't save actual customers' data on the blockchain. We
Right.
allow customers to keep data within their own walls if they want to, encrypt it how they want to, etc. We store hashes on the blockchain that points to the data.
Okay.
Now, so you have to, well, first of all, have the private keys to open up those hashes that points to the data, and then you're going to need whatever private keys and passwords to access the actual data that the customer's storing in their own data centers or whatever. So we're focusing heavily on document handling, document processing on the blockchain, and I know the devs have been working hard at this vault technology that we're about to, well, we're doing a release soon that'll show how it works, etc. But it's a very, very interesting concept, and that's one of the first questions we get every time we're out pitching is that, well, I don't want to put my data on the blockchain so everyone else can see where my
Right.
trucks are at. Like, I have a truck full of 60-inch TVs. I don't want people knowing where that is. And it's like, well, we're not going to put real-time geographic data unencrypted on the blockchain. We're just putting pointers to your data, and you keep your data internally. That's fine. And again, also, it's extremely expensive to store data on the blockchain, so we would never do that.
Yeah, for sure. We're in this rapid time of innovation. You mentioned it with AI, of course, blockchain here. How do we need to be thinking as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people who are creating new ways of doing things? How do we need to be approaching this time in history that's moving so quickly, that's solving so many different problems and creating new problems in that process? What and how do we need to be thinking as we move forward so that we're creating a responsible culture around this innovation?
hmm I think there's two ways of approaching that. One is that, this is a great, fantastic time to start new projects or to scale your projects to the next level, because never be as innovators, we can never be afraid of the old big dragons and giants, because look 10 years ago, right? Where when companies that haven't adapted to technology, let's bring up some names, right? Let's look at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Where are they today?
Yeah.
Right, they're gone. Sears, Radio Shack, Toys R Us, I mean, Borders. I mean, there's a whole ton of companies that were at their peak 10 years ago. Nobody thought, oh, these are the biggest conglomerates on this planet when it comes to whatever. Blockbuster's 9,000 video stores.
Yeah.
2 years later, after Netflix pops up, gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean? So never ever be afraid of sticking it to the man and doing your own thing. And I love that you said, how can we do this responsibly? I think it's about always be able to adapt new technology, be innovative, think outside the box. Especially as entrepreneurs, right? When we don't always have the financial resources to do whatever we want, or compete with the massive companies on price, for example, right? We have to compete on experience, we have to compete on quality, and I think that's where this responsibility comes in. Is that when we talk about blockchain technology, when you can start businesses based on ethically sourced products, for example, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love all these conscious companies that are coming up, where a certain percentage is, given back a certain percentage of the profit goes to either their own nonprofit / charity, or it goes to different charities, whatever it is. So I think becoming more business and socially conscious is a very important step in moving forward with responsibility, because there is a lot of technology coming out, and there are a lot of jobs that are going to be replaced.
Yeah.
But what is it? Somebody said that AI can replace 1,000 mediocre workers, but 1,000 AI systems can't replace one excellent mind.
Okay.
Something like that. And it's try to have that excellent mind, the excellent mindset, where utilizing technology to make things more effective and faster and more secure, but utilize your own innovative thinking to make it a better experience, higher quality, more ethically sourced, whatever it is.
So cool. I love that. And I love that philosophy. And it's really cool to be able to be in the know. And I think that's one of the things that's helpful with this kind of technology is it allows us to be more aware of what's going on around us, how what we do impacts the larger picture, not just right in front of us. Where do you want to see, whether it's ShipChain or the broader picture of blockchain, where do you want to see this go in the next couple of years?
I want to see, well, ShipChain, of course, I want to see mass adoption, a large amount of larger companies using it, and then, of course, kind of forcing it upon the rest of their supply chain. And how there's a big shortage of truck drivers in the US. We're helping creating jobs by rewarding truck drivers for proper reporting. We're building in elements of having access to a fully green supply chain if you want environmentally friendly transportation, etc. So I see a lot of cool stuff happening down the road, and I think again market adoption is the big thing for ShipChain. As for blockchain, I I'm really excited to see how it, together with AI and IoT and machine learning, how it will revolutionize, especially banking, because banking has been, corrupt and kind of bad for quite a long time,
Yeah,
right? I
for
mean,
sure.
and sure, I'm a hypocrite. I have a credit card, I have a bank account, right? So I'm not against banks at all. Although I have strong opinions on them, I just think they really need to redefine what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's going to revolutionize the insurance industry. It's going to revolutionize everything we do in a lot of ways. So what I'm really hoping for the next couple of years is just massive market adoptions, that companies aren't afraid to adapt to new technology, that they aren't afraid of kind of opening their doors even more, instead of being, an ivory tower out somewhere. Open your doors and let people peek into, what are you doing and how does it work? Because that builds trust, and trust builds loyalty. So think that's a very important concept.
Yeah, absolutely. How can people connect with you and find out more about ShipChain and all the things you got going on?
ShipChain is on. You can go to the website shipchain.io, and it's on Twitter. ShipChain. We have our whole subreddit. ShipChain. All the links are on the website shipchain.io. And then if you want to connect with me, I'm probably most active on Twitter, which is at Sam Rusani, Rusani. I'm also on Instagram, Sam, I think 6'9", which number 6 and then FT number 9. Uh, those are my two most active ones. I'm on Facebook. Oh, LinkedIn, of course, as well. Just search for Sam Rusani and you'll find me there.
We'll be right back with Sam and our rapid fire questions. If you're a big dreamer, an entrepreneur, an idea maker, you know that chasing your big idea and dream is really difficult to do. And it's even more difficult to do when you try to do it on your own. Well, you don't have to do it on your own. The team at Jumblethink would love to be your partner, to be your friend on this journey, to give you insights and ideas of how you can make your business, that dream, sustainable and attainable. Having a friend, a coach, a consultant on the journey will make the journey so much easier. So why don't we start a conversation about your idea, your dream, and how it can become real? Swing on over to jumblethink.com/helpme. That's jumblethink.com/helpme. And let's start the conversation about how we can make that dream, that idea, your entrepreneur endeavors a reality, and stop letting them sit on the shelf, get dusty, and die. Let's bring them to life. Let's do it together. We'd love to help. Swing on over to jumblethink.com/helpme and let's start the conversation. Now let's jump into rapid fire questions with Sam Rusani. We're back with Sam Rusani and rapid fire questions. Sam, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Cool. The first question is, what is one tip you'd give someone with a big idea or dream and they don't know where to start?
Oh, that's a good one. I would just say do it. Use Google. There are so many tools today. Ask questions, use Google, just get started, do something. Make a plan, break it up, just start. There's no such thing as I don't know where to start. Not with today's technology.
So good. What is one change you'd like to see in the world?
Wow. More yeah, that's
a loaded question.
World
I know.
Yeah. Compassion.
Okay.
More compassion.
Very cool. What do you want your legacy to be?
A kind, generous soul, thought leader, and someone who helped making the world a better place, who left it a better place than when he arrived.
Where do you find inspiration?
I find inspiration in the deeds of great men and women, and the things that they do. I read a lot of biographies, and I try to not only find inspirations from memes and Reddit. I try to actually go out in the world and talk to people and figure out even the small people, so to speak.
Yeah. You mentioned reading. What is one book you think every dreamer or entrepreneur should read, and why?
Oh, there's a lot of good ones. Think and Grow Rich
Yeah.
or How to Win Friends and Influence People. I know that was two, but I think it's because to get anywhere in life, whether your goal is to become, rich, that definition is so different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Rich could
Yeah.
be having a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of whatever, but it's all about mindset. And it's all about interacting with people. So those two books kind of covers the full basis for mindset of becoming rich, whatever that means to you, and two, how to interact with people to get there.
For you, what is one tool that is significant for the success of your business?
Collaboration, if
Oh.
that's as a tool.
Yeah.
Teamwork and collaboration, absolutely. More so than technology. It's
Okay.
only through teamwork we are where we are. We raised a lot of money. We have opened fantastic doors. We have fantastic clients and pilot programs just because of team. So teamwork.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. On the flip
Yep.
side, what is one habit you find helpful in your life as an entrepreneur?
Organization. took me a long time to learn that one, but once I did, massive boost in productivity and getting stuff done. So definitely organize. Think about plan and then break up the plan into small parts.
Yeah.
Failing to plan is planning to fail. So
How do you start and finish your day?
start my day with some meditation, visualization, really healthy breakfast, juice, and then some good food. And then I just go in and have, quick meetings with the team, 1 minute each, what's happening, what you're doing. And then how I finish it, I turn off all electronics at least an hour before I go to bed. I try to read every day. I read at least one book a week. And then just, try to calm down so I can get a good night's sleep.
If you weren't doing what you're doing today, what do you think you'd be doing?
I would probably still be working with marketing and public relations because I feel that that's something I have a huge passion for. But I would still be innovating stuff and sticking it to the man any way I could. So
Love that. That's so fun. What is one dream that you're still wanting to fulfill in your own life?
One dream I still wanted to fulfill in my own life. Wow. I'm involved in a lot of nonprofit organizations. So one, like the whole animal thing is one thing. And not like I'm not some crazy rampant vegan going out, preaching, but, I don't like suffering.
Okay.
And be it for animals or for humans. So I believe in education. Education is the answer to a lot of the suffering in our world because people don't know better. So I would love to have more schools built, and especially in countries where it's definitely needed to educate people and try to get them out of bad habits, so to speak.
As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with our final thoughts. So, what would you like to leave us with?
With a final thought. If we go for the funny one, I always try to tell people that, hey, don't try to make everybody happy. You're not chocolate. So, do what you can and do it really, really well. And it's don't do it because you want people to like you. Of course, don't go out and be mean and get enemies, but, believe in yourself, do your thing, and success will come.
Sam, it's been a lot of fun having you on the podcast talking about such an incredibly fun new technology that we're seeing impact our world and culture around us. Thanks for all your work that you're doing. Thanks for taking time out and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. Fantastic. Thank you.
Once again, we want to thank today's guest, Sam Rusani, for taking time out, sharing his story, and giving us insights into how they're utilizing blockchain to do innovative things in the world of shipping. If you want to learn more about ShipChain and what Sam and his team is doing, make sure to check out the episode note for all the links. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and if you have, I want to make sure that you never miss another episode of the Jumble Think podcast. All you have to do is go to your favorite place to listen to podcasts and click that magical subscribe button, and you'll get every episode right to your device. If you like Apple Podcasts, just go to jumblethink.com/iTunes. And if you like Spotify, just go to jumblethink.com/Spotify. It will take you right to our page within those apps. You can click that subscribe button, and we can connect twice a week for every episode of the Jumblethink podcast. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this final thought. Recently, I was in New York City, and in the office, it says, City of Dreams. And cities are built by man, but so are your dreams. You have to take and actually craft and construct your dream to make it a reality. So what is the city of dreams that you're building? What is the concept that you're bringing to this world? I want to encourage you. If you haven't thought about it, take a moment and think about what are those things that you really want to create. Maybe you're already doing it, but if you're not, I want to encourage you. Get out there. Take a step, a small step, a big step, but a step forward to start making your dreams and ideas a reality.
Les mères de famille, les enfants, peuvent également prendre un moment revitalisant. Dans quelques mois, lorsque vous aurez bien saisi la technique et que vous serez maître de votre corps, vous pourrez vous décontracter même en travaillant.